Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The Curse of Oak Island. The team searches the money pit spoils and uncovers a strange artifact. On The Curse of Oak Island, the team started hauling through the spoils from the money pit and found a surprising artifact that could be linked to former U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Last night's episode, understandably, had its primary focus on the big dig at the money pit. The first 10-foot wide steel caisson, christened the Fellowship 1, was rammed into the ground at the same location as the old D1 borehole. The guys reckon that this site holds the best chance for uncovering treasure. It was here that last year Ian Spooner's analysis found a large portion of silver and gold in the water buried underneath. It's also where they found wood that was carbon dated back to 1488. And most impressively, it's where they found fragments of gold on 2 pieces of metal. The process is very straightforward. Rose Equipment uses the oscillator to drill the hole, and Irving Ltd. Then sends down the massive hammer grab, which can pull up 11,000 loads of dirt. This dirt is then spread out by Billy Gerhardt so that Gary Drayton can efficiently run his metal detector over it. After Gary has picked out any precious artifacts, all the dirt/spoils are sent to the wash plant to be cleaned and further studied by the guys to ensure they've not missed anything. But as Marty Lagina pointed out, we're not going to miss anything. Oak Island team expect to find treasure at the 90 feet mark. The goal was to hit the zone of interest, which lies approximately between 70 and 90 feet. This is where the guys think the treasure is most likely to be found and where they have recovered the most interesting artifacts to date. And once they hit that mark, the hammer grabs started pulling up wood, a lot of wood, including fairly large beams. Marty said he was hoping there would be a lot of wood, as wood implies there are tunnels and structures buried underneath, which could have been used to house the treasure. A presidential boot on Oak Island. At one point, Gary found an old rubber boot, which Doug Crowell dated to around 1908/9. While a rubber boot is not exactly exciting stuff, it does beg the question, what was it doing 90 feet underground? Doug then pointed out that a major dig at the money pit had occurred in 1909, a dig that was attended by no less than future U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The possibility that this boot had belonged to FDR greatly amused the guys and would certainly be a fun piece of history if it could be confirmed. The Curse of Oak Island isn't on tonight, but here's when it will return, along with the William Shatner special. The Curse of Oak Island fans will be left disappointed tonight, as there's no new episode on the History Channel. Just as the Lagina brothers and the team look to be getting close to finding the money pit, we're going to have to wait even longer than expected to find out what happens next. Oak Island's usual spot at 9/8C will be taken up this Tuesday evening by a 2-hour episode of History's New Miniseries Washington. Why isn't Oak Island on tonight? In honor of President's Day on Monday, February 17, the History Channel decided to premiere its new 3-part miniseries Washington this week. President's Day is always celebrated on the 3rd Monday of February. Washington's birthday was February 22, while Lincoln was born February 12. The Washington series documents how George Washington rose from a loyal British subject to the leader of the Revolution to the first president of the United States. When will the Curse of Oak Island return? Don't worry, because fans won't have to long to wait for the return of Oak Island, with new episodes back on our screens from next Tuesday, February 25. There will also be a new episode of The Curse of Oak Island, drilling down next week, featuring a visit to the War Room by none other than Captain James T. Kirk. That's right, William Shatner visits the island to discuss the theories and give the guys a motivational chat. Last week's episode. At the end of last week's episode of The Curse of Oak Island, titled Romancing the Stone, we discovered the piece of wood found in the area of the money pit dated from 1626 to 1680. This is clear evidence that the Lagina brothers and team are getting very close to the treasure shaft. Narrator Robert Clotworthy pointed out that the question is beginning to change from where is the money pit to how deep is the money pit and what's in it. Clotworthy also poses an uncomfortable question. Was it worth all the time and expense and the lives lost? Hey, we're all in this for the journey, right? Either way, it's becoming increasingly clear that the island could be close to giving up its secrets, although it seems always to find a way to keep that door closed. Another hurricane, anyone? What's on the next episode? In the next episode, the guys seem to be still concentrating on digging at the swamp despite the money pit being tantalizingly close. This could be because the swamp has proved particularly exciting this season, with numerous theories swirling around mysterious Templar knights, Spanish galleons, and French treasure. Of course, the team is rightfully intrigued by the paved platform that was recently discovered in the swamp. Also, evidence from Dr. Spooner indicating the swamp may be man-made is reason enough to keep digging there. Another reason to keep digging in the swamp is the fact the guys spent a lot of money and effort in draining the marshy land that could potentially fill up again at short notice, as we saw when Hurricane Dorian hit a couple of weeks ago. The episode's preview appears to show the guys frantically digging. Shouts of "watch yourself," "whoa," and "oh no" can be heard as we see falling bits of wood, so it looks like the guys perhaps encounter a setback in their efforts. We also hear a shout of "this is a huge structure," and we hear Rick Lagina say he wants to know who did it and why. We can assume he's referring to the ancient builders of the structure rather than some unknown misdemeanor by Billy Gerhardt or one of the other guys. Gary Drayton has another intriguing find. Meanwhile, metal detectorist Gary Drayton has found another mysterious item. An expert tells him, Marty Lagina and Alex Lagina, that the object has been in a hot, sustained fire. Marty wonders aloud, "Wow, what's that doing in the swamp?" It seems that as the guys edge closer and closer to the money pit, they are becoming more and more fascinated with the mysteries of the swamp, for now anyway. If you're determined to get a Curse of Oak Island fix tonight, and you don't mind staying up late, the History Channel is showing an old episode of The Curse of Oak Island, drilling down at 11/10C.